Live yet? Let's see here. Boom. Salman Gomez. Hello, hello, hello. Let me see. Make sure everything's working properly. I just have to click on it again. There it is. It's working. All right. It's working. Let me turn down myself so I don't hear me talking to my own ears because I do have headphones on. Drone simulator time. I'm gonna do an hour and then dip out. I have a lot of work to do, and I was almost chose not to go on, but I was like, I gotta keep my schedule if I put it up there. So let me get my simulator started here, so I can fly around and have a nice time, and it should be good. Oh God, I'm a mess. Was it WonderCon yesterday? And we had the panel for Skeleton Crew. It was real fun. I'll probably say this again. I don't think anybody's on yet, so it'll be interesting here. Let's see. Velocidrone. This thing always takes a minute to start up. Let's see. Starting now. Got my controller here. Start the controller. And all right. Welcome to EdgeTX. Now, let's see. Where is my USB? This is the one. All right. The simulator has started. All right, gets this thing plugged in. We should be good. It's very early for me to be doing a drone practice, but I gotta get out of the way. I got a lot of stuff to do. Kind of had a little bit of a late start this morning. Couldn't get myself like back into action like I should. Let's see. USB joystick. All right, we are connected here. Now, scene. Now. It is on the drone mode. All right. Let us put this sucker in big view. Single player. Continue. Let's see here. What is this? Dynamic polyworld. Any new ones? So many things. Quads in space. I feel like track name, scenery, rating. I wish there was a way to sort this by date when they showed up. Verify track, new track. New track. Oh, it's a little check mark is the new track. That's good to know. Oh, look, all of them have a little check mark. All right. Oh, no, that's the verified track. Sorry. New track. Are there any new ones? No. All right, we're gonna go a different one. We're gonna go to a different area to play around for a little bit. Also, let me turn on my alarm here. Timer. 1 hour, 5 minutes, and go. And we're counting down. I got on my watch, so I'll be here for a little while, and we'll be ready to jam. Let's see. Temple of Doom, Tesseract. There must be some of these that I've missed. Maybe that's what this. Let's see. Let's go to a different one. We've been here a bunch. This one's cool because it's always so different. Subway, Sports Hall, Shipport. Shipport's okay. Indoor cart. Factory. Empty scene night. I wonder if this is an empty scene night. If this is another one where, oh yeah, see this new one. Let's try this. I don't know what this is. I'll probably hate it. It'll probably be terrible. Wow! Oh my God! Look at this place. Okay. And I somehow just crashed immediately. Oh wow! This is one of the ones where the drone feels really, really, really fast. More than normal. Oh my God! All right. Now. Oh my God! This is a tiny little building. So fast. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Too fast. I probably have the wrong drone for this scene. So we're just gonna change track. It's too ridiculous. I wonder if these are all. What is this one? Empty scene night. Empty scene. I don't know if it's the same warehouse in every one or if it's just like, hey, you can put whatever in here. Let's do this one. Oh my God, look at this. Oh wow, look at this one is bananas looking. Oh yeah, so the warehouse one was something totally different. It's really hard to tell spatially how big things are on this scene. It feels like there's not enough in the background for my eyes to kind of like figure out the depth perception of where I'm gonna actually fly. I hate it. Let's get out of here. We'll just go to the. We'll just do Bando again. NTC Night. Apocalypse. That one's fun. Let's do Apocalypse. No new ones. These are always like kind of the same. We'll go this one. All right. Get settled on go. Oh, geez. Immediate crash. Perfect. Yeah, went to WonderCon yesterday. We had the Skeleton Crew panel, which was about like mainly about the droids and stuff on Skeleton Crew, which I was a droid. However, it was Mike Senna, Victor Franco, Rob White, who's puppeteered on some days there, William Miyamoto, who also puppeteered. And basically, Mike Senna and Victor Franco really were the guys heading up the droid department on Skeleton Crew. And then they invited me to come along and be part of the panel, which is really cool. And it's fun to answer questions. Although I didn't talk a whole lot because there was 5 of us up there. We had 50 minutes to cover a whole bunch of topics and then try to answer some questions from people. But overall, it's still real fun. And I wanted to go back today, but I have too many things to do, and I have not done hardly any of them because I'm going to Florida to play shows with my band, play a show with my band in a week from today. I'll be in Miami, and it should be fun. But I got to get like a bunch of stuff done around here before I leave, and then I got multiple, random work things to do. So I got to wrap those up. It's actually funny because it's been really slow work-wise. Just movie industry stuff has been very kind of like bogged down recently, I guess. Not bogged down. It's just nobody wants to start any filming things, so it's just been like dead. It's really weird. And everybody, it's not just me. It's like so many people that I know and work with are just like, hey, you got any work? I'm like, nope. But suddenly, a whole bunch of things have popped up. So, and it's still not really like real work. It's like a whole bunch of filler stuff. I got one job where I got to make a stunt body part for a production where the stunt guy is going to get basically punched in the beans, I guess. And I got to make the fake jewels, essentially. And by jewels, I mean the family jewels. And then I've got to do some scan cleanup, and I got to do some breakup of some 3D models, which I don't exactly understand what I'm supposed to do. The models came in, they look really good. Somebody else 3D modeled everything, and I'm supposed to like break it up for printing, which is weird because I feel like they should just give that to the 3D modeler to do. I don't mind doing it. I'll take the money if they want to pay me, but I just really don't understand why they need me to do it. But I'm gonna do it anyway. It's gonna be good. Finishing up some molds, like they've been started for a long time, and then I'm just kind of just finalizing them, cleaning up the mother mold and all that, and that'll be out of the way, out of my hair. Don't have to be out of my hair. I'm bald. I won't have to deal with that anymore. And that's good. And then and then I gotta install some floor up here, just outside my room. There's a little section of the landing that doesn't have any flooring yet, and that goes into my bedroom. No floor. Well, it's got like plywood down on the floor, like the construction wood, but it doesn't have any laminate floor. So I'm installing that, and I got to get that started up so that I can move on to the next step, and that'll be cool. And then I gotta practice all the songs my band's gonna play because I've not played some of them in 9 years. And they're not hard, but I just got to go over and make sure I'm not like goofing up. I don't want to show up and then not know what I'm doing, because that's bad. That's a very bad. But now, and let's see here. What else? I'm trying to think what else is new. Those are kind of the main things. I am having a little bit of FOMO about not being back at WonderCon today. I was supposed to go back down today, but I was just like, I really can't afford to spend the whole day down there. It's very far from my house. It's like a, almost 2 hour drive each way, which means 4 hours out of my day goes just to getting back and forth. And I got to get at the park. And I got to go in, really not do anything productive. Like being on one of the panels was cool. It gave me a good excuse to be there. Had I not been on that panel, I would have been there today and not gone yesterday. Because Saturdays always of conventions is always like the fun day. It's when everybody is there. Everybody's there doing something, and then it's just like a little more worth the time, I think, to go down there. No. And so far so good. Really fun. Can I make it under? Oh my god, I didn't crash. I don't know what just happened, but oh. I'm hitting things, but it's not crashing me out, so that's good. Now, I do feel like my flying skills have improved a lot since I started doing this. No. Oh my god. Oh, there. It finally crashed. That was a tough one. So, I'm trying to think what else. So I started working at a shop, technically on the payroll now, which is cool. I won't be in there every day, at least not for the meantime. It looks more like I'm going to be in there 2 or 3 times a week, doing like 3D scans and things. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing is learning how to use their scanner, which is a really, really nice, like, I don't know, $20,000+ scanner. Very nice. So a lot of the stuff I was going to do for my Patreon, I had mentioned rescanning it with my friend's scanner, which is better than the scanner that I scanned it with. But this scanner, if I have access to it, is really, really, really good. So I might be rescanning a lot of my parts with this new one and going from there so that my stuff is, better. And that should be game changer with the pieces I'm trying to make, because I am trying to keep all my 3PO. Oh, damn it, almost. I'm trying to keep all these 3PO parts that I'm making as, really screen accurate. So they'll have, I always say this, but they'll have all the little weirdness that the, the screen use parts have, asymmetry and just like, that kind of stuff. I really want to keep true to that. I'm not going to make everything symmetrical and perfect. It's going to be perfect, but in the weird way, like the original trilogy suits were. So that's cool. And then we'll see. I don't know if I can just go use that scanner whenever I want, but I feel like they're going to let me practice with it. So I'm going to start bringing stuff to scan of my own while I practice, so that when they have clients come in, I am proficient and can do a good job with a person sitting there, so they're not looking at me, struggle. That's not good. So there's that, and I got to do some ZBrush work for them, and I got to do that probably tonight. I'm going to do this, do all my daytime stuff outside. I got to paint some things and so forth, and then when it's dark and cold, I'll work in ZBrush down here at my house. Also, I think some of the stuff that I'm printing for that other job that I was talking about earlier, where I have to break the model up, I think they're doing it on like a Stratasys or something, where they can print the color onto the print. So the 3D prints are going to like come off the printer essentially done. and I've never done that before, which is okay. I can go learn how to do it, but it's going to be interesting. They sent me all these materials and things, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, in a sense that if I have to bake the materials into the model, I don't know. And they made it in Cinema 4D, which is a program that I've never used. Of all the 3D software I've tried my whole life, I've never used Cinema 4D, and I really don't know many people who use it. Not for a long time, but I feel like I've recently met more people. Those guys at Corridor Digital used to do a lot of stuff with Cinema 4D. When I was talking to them about it, they were like, "Yeah, we use Cinema 4D." Oh, and I guess it's really good for like motion graphics. So like when you see like the, the things in between commercials that, or like at the beginning of a football game when there's like the football is busting through glass and it's like all this crazy intro graphics. I think or a lot of that stuff is done in Cinema 4D. People love it for broadcast kind of animations. That's what I hear. Um, so anyway, they sent me a Cinema 4D file, but I said I need an OBJ. I can't open Cinema 4D in ZBrush. I don't think. Maybe I can. Maybe I can. I don't know. So anyway, we'll see how that is. I hope I can get it done before I have to leave. I don't want them to like freak out on me. And the work seems very easy, but I also have a bunch to do in the next few days. So I don't want to take it for granted and think, yeah, it's going to be no problem. And then it turns out I messed it up. They won't like that very much. Oh, crashed again. Do you know the type of 3D scanner? I don't off the top of my head, but I can find out. I'll probably, once I get on, I'll talk about it. It's nice. They actually scanned me with it a few months back, and it's like really good, man. It got all my pore texture and everything, and I was just sitting in a chair real still, and they did the scan. It was reasonably quick, but it's over 20 grand. I know that. It's nice. And they've scanned a bunch of actors. The 3D files I'm actually going to be cleaning up today are scans of some actress, and they were done with that scanner. And I actually am not cleaning up. The scan is actually really clean. I'm kind of actually going to retopologize it and repose it, and then I have to sculpt the eyeballs closed, and then that's really what I'm doing. It's not exactly a cleanup. I'm doing that and then adjusting some things. So it'll be interesting. Oh, shit. I worked with the Einstein. Actually, that actually sounds kind of familiar. This one's really good. Let me see if I can find a picture over here. Now I'm really curious. Let me see. I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna look at a picture of that one and tell you. It's not the Pro 2X. I'm looking at them right now. The Einscan. It shape-wise, from what I remember, looks like one of their cheaper scanners, but it's not that scanner. It's let me see something. I'm gonna look here and see what I find. It is a couple years. No, it's not too old. I had mine done like I'm trying to think when I was scanned. They did it. Let's see. Is this it? I'm looking right now. The Arctic Point 3D. It kind of looks like that one, but I don't think that's it. Arctic Eva 3D. I will know for sure in a few days because I'll get to break it out and play around with it. But it is a very nice. Sorry, I was looking at some of the other ones to see which one it might be. All right, let's keep flying around here. This place is fun. You should really be practicing my X-wing flying. Actually, that's not a bad idea. You've seen those things where those guys put the little ships on the drones and fly them around. There's somebody did one recently, but like years ago, a guy did one and he flew it off of Big Tahunga Canyon, and it didn't say that in the description, but I've driven down there and flown my drone down there a bunch of times, so I recognize the area. And he did one with the X-wing flying around through this really cool area outdoors. And then I saw another person do it recently, but theirs was like a little bit smaller drone, so it didn't quite look as legit as the first one. What I might do is just build in like the interior of the cockpit and put that in front of the camera, and then put the front of the X-wing on, sticking out in front. I think that would be pretty fun. Neil, good afternoon. Hello. Seems like I got some people chatting with me now. It's pretty fun. I don't know who's been here long enough, but I'm going to do the whole spiel of updates. Yesterday, I was going to, was my scheduled drone day, but I ended up not doing it because I was at WonderCon, and I was there like all day. I drove over. I told you guys that, a friend of mine passed away, and a bunch of he worked at Lionsgate Studios, and a bunch of my stuff was there because when he got the job at Lionsgate, he got an office, and he said, Gordon, I need some stuff for my office to make it look cool. What do you have? Like, I need to decorate it. And so I went out there and I brought him like an RA7 head and a Stormtrooper costume and one of my little IG-88 head looking Rolls-Royce containers and an Iron Man helmet. I think that's it. It seemed like more because the Stormtrooper was all in pieces, so I had to make like 3 trips to get everything. But we put it all in there and it was set up, and then my goal at the time was to swap that stuff out because all that stuff is like stuff that I made, but technically not mine. Like the Stormtrooper suit is technically my brother's, although I've had it in my possession for, I don't even know, probably 20 years, but it's technically my brother's suit. I just have it. But I made it. I did all the vacuum forming and all the stuff except for the helmet, which my friend Eric made. So it was on loan. I'm going to put this there, and when I make something new, I'll just swap it out. And then you can put something cool in your office, and I'll change it out for this thing. And that was kind of the deal. But then my friend up and died, just passed away, which is the saddest thing. It was a total piece of shit. He's a super awesome guy. But then came the dilemma of how do I get my stuff back that's in his office, because nobody there knows me. So I could be like any random guy that just wants to take cool stuff out of his office. And, that's a tricky situation. And unfortunately, I had some texts and things, which I didn't need to show and prove or anything, but it was really tricky getting hold of somebody. And then this guy Lawrence, who is an editor for my friend Sam, got me in contact with a guy at the legal department at Lionsgate, and that guy got me in contact with the right people, and they got me in his office, which was really sad because he had like, it looked like it did the last day he was there. So he had like all this stuff up of projects he was working on, and he had this big board with all these different actors that were like famous people with their prices for what they what it cost for them to do a movie, and was like, it looked like they were trying to cast some people and had people in mind for whatever he's working on, which is interesting to see, but really sad to know that that's probably not going to go anywhere now. And then I went and was able to grab all my goods and leave, and then I went straight to WonderCon and did a panel for Skeleton Crew, kind of like the Skeleton Crew droid department, and that was fun. Chatted, and the panels are only really like 50 minutes because they have like a 10-minute rollover between the panels to make sure that the next panel can get in and get set up, so they start on time. So I could talk about that stuff for like hours, especially if you got good questions and people asking stuff. And there was 5 of us up there. We all had stuff to say, so we didn't really get to talk a whole lot. And but it was super fun. I would totally do it again if I had the chance. 22 2 hours left. The UK hope is You are well, Gordon. Dude, thank you very much. We have lost so many good friends in the last couple of months, especially in VFX world. I know it's so crazy. Oh look, you're going to share the Pam Riddle panel. No, my friend just wrote me. I was supposed to go to WonderCon today, but I'm not there. So I'm Rob White, who I just mentioned. Um, and it seems like another one of my friends is on another panel, probably another skeleton crew panel, and um, I didn't know anything about it, but yeah, take it. You figured out who arranged your WonderCon ticket. I did not. It must have been somebody in the Droid Builder thing. I mentioned that thing where my friend Victor wrote me and he's like, "Hey, I was gonna sign you up for the WonderCon, but it says your name is already down." And I went to the thing and they had my QR code and they scanned it, and it was all legit. Like somebody got me in, and then I went to pick up my badge, and the guy's like, "Oh, this badge has already been printed," and I was like, "Really?" And then he had to go track it down, and it went back to the Droid Builder guys, but I just don't know which one of the Droid Builders put my name down because usually Victor does it, and when he went to do it, my name was already in there. So I I don't know. I don't know if he just gave a list like here's the names of the people, and they printed those names, or I don't know how that works. But yeah, it was interesting. Really not quite an idea unless Victor put me down a long time ago and forgot and then came back. I don't know. Very strange. Lionsgate, I've been trying to get on their films the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I was just there yesterday. I was at Lionsgate at their office in Santa Monica yesterday morning. Get my stuff from my friend's place. It was weird walking around in there. They do all like John Wick stuff, and they have a bunch of cool franchises go through there. So they have like posters everywhere from some of these things. Oh shit. Um, when I had Don Post C3PO, when I had the Don Post C3PO scanned, it was very small scanner. It took a lot of work. It's the one I posted on thing. Ah, yeah. I know which one you are. I didn't put that together, dude. That one's awesome. I actually I used that for reference for a long time. That's the one that years ago I was gonna try to make into a wearable thing, but then Jesse M recreated these files, like these really good 3PO files. So I was like, okay, I don't quite have the motivation like I did once when I first started it, because when I first started, I was going to be like the guy to make them. So now it's like getting those things done is I just have to approach it from another angle, and I'm going to do it through my Patreon because I can't really afford to just sit around and like work on the files and give them away. I would love to do that if it was viable for me, but I just can't. I either make it a thing where I make something off of it, or I just can't put the time into it because I have other things to do. So if it's gonna like offset work, then I gotta like make pay for it, especially because it's California. It's so freaking expensive, so expensive here. So like every little bit really counts. Um, but I'm trying to, I'm keeping the Patreon really, really, really cheap so that, hopefully I don't burden anybody. If they want to be a member, I want it to be like easy. And I don't know how it's going to work. I think in the future, what I'll do is once I start getting a lot of files up there, I'll probably make it a thing where the perks don't open up until you've been on for a while. Like you'll have access after a certain amount of time, or potentially, I think Patreon added a thing where a non-member can buy files and stuff. So if I wanted to just put files up for sale, I could put a price on them, and they could just, buy the file and be done with it. Which I may open up, but I'll probably make it easier. I want to encourage them to be a subscriber versus just buy the files. So I don't know. I got to figure out the pricing. It's tricky. I mean, you put in like so many hours into a thing, and literally like become an expert on it. I've looked at 3PO stuff for years and like very critically. And so when I see it, I want that to transfer into my work. And it's like, if I just do all that hard work and all the heavy lifting and all the research and all the 3D modeling program, learning how to use all that stuff, and then it's like, it does have some value to it. Even though I feel weird about selling things in general, I just would rather trade everything if I could. If I could just be like, make anything and then just like someone would pay my rent or give me food or like pay my car bills or whatever, that would be great. Or just trade me for something, or they make something cool for me. I mean, I've traded a lot of stuff with people before, and but unfortunately, society requires us to pay bills. Jesse M did a great job. That's why I posted them. Yeah, dude. Jesse did an awesome job. And the thing is, Jesse's files are like, they are, you know, based on your file. I think that he used your files as a reference, but then he like I don't know what he remodeled them in. They look really good, but there's some stuff that's like not accurate, and it also doesn't match the Don Post scans. So it's not bad. It's still way more accurate than like the suits that are on like the Mandalorian or whatever. His files are way more accurate than those, and those are on freaking TV, unfortunately. Trying to work out how to make my wheelchair look like a droid. It's Segway based 2-wheel wheelchair. Oh, that's kind of awesome. Well, there are some pretty kind of cool designs. I'm guessing the wheels are side by side. They're not like one in front of the other, right? Like a bicycle style. It's just like literally Segway style where they're next to each other. Yeah, what could you do? There's a bunch. I mean, if you made like a full on costume and built like almost like a skirt around the base of the wheelchair, that could be doable. Oh my god, look at this. But I'm just getting around here until I talk. The second I talk, crash. Side by side. Okay. So everyone can make a suit or a statue. Yeah, dude, I love that you posted those. Those scans were awesome. And when I started working on them, I was like, this is gonna be very cool. And it's funny because like the Don Post statue just on its own, like your scans are fantastic, but the Don Post statue has some weird little issues just within the statue that I know about. So I was like, I'm just gonna correct those. But in the meantime, since you posted those, I've had a lot of access to like real C3PO parts and or first generation castings from real 3PO parts that are just like hyper. I mean, they're just, I couldn't get more accurate than that. And I've remolded a lot of them. So I have actual physical molds of a bunch of them, but I want to scan them and do 3D versions and go that way. I actually am getting to the point where I really prefer 3D printed parts over like, going fiberglass and doing all the thing. I may still add some fiberglass to the 3D print, but there's like something nice about, printing it up and not having to, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like you're breathing so many weird chemicals and stuff. Because with a fiberglass helmet or epoxy or whatever, if they have like a lingering smell, which it cannot be good to be like have my face inside this stupid thing for hours and hours, there's got to be like negative repercussions from doing that for such a long time and so often. But yeah, those scans are great, and they are really good reference for a lot of stuff. And it was helpful with Jesse. I'm trying to think of the things like when Don Post made that C3PO costume, he got all the parts. I talked to John Post Jr., like the dude, the actual Don Post's son, and he kind of told me about when they got the parts and how it was like such a hurry to make those 3PO suits, and that the deal that they'd worked out with Lucasfilm just to be able to do it. And I think that when they sent all the parts down to be molded, they sent a left leg that was either Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, and then a right leg that was A New Hope. That's my impression, because the right leg is very, very weird on the Don Post statue. It's like the back behind the knee on the thigh, there's like a little detail, and it's like wider than any of the other suits I've seen that are Empire or Jedi, and that has that the teeth on that knee on the front are detached. There's like a gap there, which is also super weird. I'm like, why would they do that? And I understood if they were like going to paint the whole lower part silver, but they still made that knee part gold. I'm like, what was the point of breaking that up and making the gap obvious? It's not like they made the two pieces to make it easier to cast and then they like body shop them together for the final statue. They like made that weird gap, which is not like, it's like they didn't look at any reference. They put all this time and money and work into this statue, but didn't look at any reference at the time when they did it. And that little part is real odd. So the left leg is like perfect Empire Strikes Back, beautiful leg, and then the right leg has all these weird things. And again, it's not your scans at all. Your scans are great. It's the actual Don Post statues, and I've seen them in person. They're all like that. And I always wondered, like, what's the story with this? It's super weird. And then with the arms, there's one set of C-3PO arms that I've seen in person where the elbow, the little back of the elbow is like particularly long, and I've been to the Lucasfilm archives. I've seen a whole bunch of 3PO arms, and I've seen multiple suits in person. None of them have that thing like that, but there is a set of arms that has that long back, and I feel like that must be the set of arms that Don Post got. And they are like where the wrist detail is, it's like the arm is like almost a half-inch shorter than what the regular screen used ones are. Like it maybe was missing the cuff detail, and then Don Post people added it back in, but they didn't account for the thing that might be on the front of the arm. So that's super weird. Again, would never know that except I finally got access to all these things and had a chance to look at them. Yeah, the knee probably for molding or something. See, well, that's what I thought too. I thought maybe it's for molding, but if it was just separated like that, they could have made it like they could have still molded it separately to make the cast easier, but they left that gap like over the top of the knee. I'm gonna go look at pictures of it right now because now I'm talking about it. Don Post C-3PO. Let's look at it. Prop Store did one. They took a lot of photos of it. Let's see. Prop Store's had a few of them go through. They had one there for a little while when I was working on a bunch of stuff. And here he goes. Good pictures of it. Let me switch over so we can all look together. Hang on a second. Let me go to, oh, that's not what I want to do. This is where I want to go. We're going to go here. I'm going to go to, let's see, display capture, yay, video. And is it working? Oh, no, sorry, I don't want that. I want to be here. All right, here we go. Back to the Don Post thing. So, let's see. Here's a good one. So you can see the gap at the front. Let me zoom. Come on, Prop Store. Do your job. Do your freaking job. Do your job. The shorts are also weird. So, like, this line here, and see how the butt, like, from this point to the butt crack right here, is too short. Doesn't look like that on any of the screen used shorts. However, this detail is all correct. So it's almost like they took the mold and then they like modded it for whatever reason to make it easier to wear. But like this giant gap, this should be like this long. It should come down about here. And then these parts are about that long. They're about another, at least an inch longer on the screen used. Super weird. But I know that these were molded from a real suit, but I just think that they made exceptions for the, like you said, for like mold making or something. So that gap over that knee right there is super weird. And this leg, perfect. The torso is really good on the Don Post suit. Like the whole torso, shoulders, neck. I think the neck has like, let me see the neck ring here if there's better pictures. He's also leaned way far back, further back than Anthony Daniels ever leaned, which is interesting. But the head is overall is pretty good, but there's some couple weird things. So this part here, see this cuff? This part, it's almost like they started this side of the cuff where the arm ends, and then they worked this way instead of adding the cuff this way. Because if you see, the real arms are really long, and this chunk here on the elbow is particularly long compared to most of the screen use suits. There is a set of arms in the archives that has this long piece like this long elbow, and I'm just guessing. I've only seen one out of like lots of arms. I've only seen one set that has this, and I'm guessing that's the one that they got from the archives to like, here's what you're gonna use. The hand details like weirdly sharp right here, more than normal. It almost looks like they recreated the top of the hands. There's stuff that's just a little off, and it's like I wonder if when they took the castings, if they came out bad and they like tried to touch them up, but like didn't have the reference. And the knee piston's mounted all weird. I mean, the knee piston's very, very strange. It almost looks like they just made it up. Like it should be mounted in the center, so like around this area should be what's in the middle here. But this gap, even the way this is shaped, like if you hid this, the shape of this looks like a New Hope leg. And I think they had a New Hope leg, and they took a casting off of the left leg and copied it over. Because I feel like they got just a New Hope thigh, right thigh, and then the lower shin is from Empire or something, because this whole part is all Empire and perfect. This whole part's perfect, but the whole upper part is totally weird. I know I keep going on about it, but this is how my brain works, guys. In the head, it's like something happened to the face, like the mold like shrunk too much or something, or if they did a brush up mold and then a mother mold, there's like 2 layers of shrink, and then you do a casting and the casting shrinks, and so the mouth is like real small and weird. It almost looks like the mold got pressed in a little bit, and then they copied that into the main files, which is unfortunate. The back of the head looks pretty good. I actually took the Don Post head that you scanned and put it up with my pieces here, which are like off, 1 generation away from screen used, and they're very close. They're very, very close. The one part that's a little weird is on the Don Post is that this little tab on the left side has this weird like jump down, and I think what they did is where the hole is on the left side is actually very close to the edge, and I think they gave it a little extra meat to even it out at Don Post. But overall, the back of the head is very good. The face got a little deformed, which is unfortunate. But pretty freaking cool. Let's see. Knee was probably also made difference with the Disney suit. Let's see, which Disney suit do you mean? There are several. So there's a Disney Walkabout suit, which is not the Don Post one, or they're not related. The Disney, if you're talking about the sequel trilogy suit, that one's a totally different thing. I've got to work with that one too. So I've seen one of them from the Force Awakens. I've worked with that suit before, so I had like a lot of hands-on, and then I've worked with the parts of one of the other droid suits. They did a CZ3 for Solo, and the torso is very inaccurate. The face is really weird and inaccurate, but the arms and the legs and shorts and feet are all from the 3PO molds. So I saw how they're made. They're made out of like a semi-rigid urethane, and for the CZ3 they basically sanded off the extra detail on the legs to make it look like CZ3 legs that have less detail. But they're really cool. Also, differences. Let's see. The knee, I always thought was molded of a catering bean cannon. It kind of looks like it, especially the end. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've looked at, like, I went down a rabbit hole trying to find these things, and I found I found some part. I mean, I had them saved as a tab like years ago. For like 3 years, I had a tab open on my browser. There was some company that made some kind of seals, and they looked just like 3PO outer knees. Like had the rings were exactly the same. And I don't know if at the time when I found that, I didn't know the exact sizes of the knee rings, which I do now, but at the time I didn't. So I wanted to like I had it saved so I could try to find out. But this was actually God 2015 or something like that. It's for a while ago, or maybe earlier than that. Quick question: do you ever clear coat overall clad, and if so, do you use 2K automotive or spray can? Yes, I do, but there there's like a trick to it, depending on what you're going for. Um, Trying to think how to do it. So like the canisters I did for Disney. Let me see if I got photos of these too. I'm gonna try to find some reference photos here. Hang on one second. Go back to me for a second while I look around on my freaking computer. Um, so here's a picture. Let me see. Will this open? This is one. They're all weathered. I'm trying to find an unweathered but clear-coated picture of some chrome stuff with all clad. There's a trick. There's a trick to doing it that is. Hang on. Sorry. Now I'm looking around. How much time do I have left? 20 minutes. Stay with me, guys. Sorry. Current desktop crap this work. Personal projects. Sorry, I got a lot of folders, and they're not organized as well as I'd like. There's too many things that overlap into different categories. I never know where to put some of this stuff. Let me see. I want to show you some stuff that is clear-coated all-clad. And the trick to it is that if you want to clear coat it and keep it as shiny as possible, you have to make a barrier layer. So I use either the All-Clad's Aqua Gloss spray, which is like a water-based clear coat, and then I put the 2K clear coat on top of it, which will make it clear it up even more. Because what's happening is when you put like an acrylic clear coat, it's very, very clear, but the surface has these nearly microscopic imperfections that diffuse the light, and they kind of mess the reflections up. It has not damaged the metal surface of the all-clad, but it deadens it because the actual surface of the clear coat is not perfect. But the 2K auto clear coat does get a perfect finish. It gets very extremely smooth. So if you spray the 2K auto clear on top of your barrier layer, it'll fill all those little imperfections, and then you get a clear thing, and it looks really, really good. It's not quite as perfect as if it was just all clad on its own, but it's pretty dang close. Or if you spray the 2K clear right onto the all clad, it will definitely affect the reflectivity in a negative way. But if you've ever seen like the Mandalorian suit in person up close, it looks exactly like that. I think I did a video on my YouTube a while back showing something I did by accident. I was just testing 2K auto clear on all clad just to see how it went dead on, and it looked exactly like the Mandalorian suit finish. It's not as reflective as you think. It looks really reflective in camera, but the Mandalorian suit in person is like it's got a really shiny gloss coat, but the metal does not look super reflective. It's like more of the reflections are picking up on the gloss than the metal. So it's got a different look. It reads great in camera, but it doesn't look like it. I don't know. It doesn't look the same in person. Anyway, let me see here. I'm getting myself distracted. Corridor. Oh, and also the Corridor digital video that I worked on a few weeks ago was supposed to come out tomorrow, but they pushed it back 1 week because they've got, I think, some kind of brand tie-in or something that they want to do. So they're gonna do it 1 more week out, and get to see it next Sunday, which should be really fun. And I went there the other day to film a reaction video, and I got to ride a one wheel, which was amazing. I do not know where the freaking I don't know where these pictures are. I do have pictures of some of these pieces that are chromed without too much weathering, but I don't know where I put them. Let me see something. Sorry for the delay here as I search around my computer. Let's see. Do you prefer 2K over Aquagloss or for all clad? It depends. Answer that I hit enter. Yeah, it just depends on the look more than anything. I think that now there's the ultra lumen, which apparently you can clear coat right on top of it, but you have to like almost like bake it. Let me see here. I think I got some pictures of. Sorry, I'm looking around here through all my crazy amount of photos that are on my computer and tons of downloaded junk. Let's see. Yeah, it really just depends on the look. Again, if you're trying to do a Mandalorian style armor, I would do the 2K right on the all clad, no barrier. It's not going to look as good as you want it to look, but that is exactly what the Mandalorian armor looks like in person. So if you filmed with it, you would get like the same effect. I think the barrier, almost everything I do where I use all clad and I have to protect it or tint it, I do the barrier coat. So all of the Oga Cantina canisters, that's how I did all of those that way. I did the blades for Malignant like that too. Let me see. This is part of a Malignant blade. This isn't a good photo. Hang on a second. Jeez, man, I have like too many things misplaced on this machine. All right, desktop. Let's look at what I have. Previous clients. Content, corridor, content, desktop, crap to sort. Oh, current desktop. See, I usually do a folder called desktop crap to sort, which is anytime I like have my desktop gets too messy, I just grab everything and dump it in there. And one time I wanted to put everything back on my desktop and I wanted to hide it because I was doing like share my screen a bunch and I was like, oh, my desktop looks crazy. So I put that stuff in a different folder and they look the same. Demo real clips. I'd done a presentation for something and I basically let me see, is this one? And I'd basically, is it gonna play? Golly, it's loading slow. These are all weathered, so they don't look as reflective. Sorry. I'll play this again so you guys can see it. Scene and scene. So this is, I have photos of these before I did the weathering on them, and they're much shinier, but you can see they're very dirty. This is the batch that I made for Galaxy's Edge in Florida, and we had done the Anaheim ones first, and I got to see the Anaheim ones before I had to do the ones for Florida. And when I saw the ones from Anaheim, even though I weathered them, I didn't weather them enough, so they looked totally clean. I thought they cleaned my weathering off, but they hadn't. So when I did the Florida ones, I made them really dirty because they were supposed to have a little bit of dirt to them. So look at all these crazy things. Let's see here. There we go. I'm going to go back here for a second. Let me see if I can find. Let me stop that video from playing in the background. We don't need that sucking up all my memory here. Jeez, man. It's funny because I keep seeing photos that should be near the pictures I'm looking for, but then the pictures I'm looking for are not there. Like I moved them somewhere like a dummy. Here's some These are all clad, but these are not clear coated yet, I don't think. Let's see. Like these are all, this is all clad. And some of these are rubber and they're real flexible. Some of them are like hard resin and some of them are rubber. They look the same. And I did video when I was shooting all these to show the bendy ones. It's pretty cool. I also posted all the 3PO images I have on Google Drive, hundreds, free for everyone. Dude, thank you. Yeah, I have like gigs and gigs and gigs of 3PO reference everything, like so much, and like just an insane amount. And they're really, they'd been useful, especially like before I had access to like screen use stuff. I didn't have any way to look at them. Sometimes you can see something one time for like a second and then it just answers a bunch of questions. So, you know, things that inside the suit, I didn't know how things went together on the costume. And then you see one picture of it open and it just like all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is like that. Like, oh, the left shoulder is part of the back of the suit and the right shoulder is on the front of the suit. Because I couldn't figure out how it all went together. It's pretty magical. Mandalorian method was to cut down specular reflection. RoboCop original suit was the same. Yeah, the Mandalorian method and the RoboCop suits look a lot different in person. I've seen both of them, like in like the real deal in person. The Mandalorian method, it wasn't like they deadened it. It wasn't like they used like a silver like RoboCop looks like they used like a silver auto paint and then just tinted it, tint coated it. And then Mandalorian looks, I'm pretty sure they used Alumiluster was the paint that they used on that, which is really, really similar to All Clad. And then they clear coated it. And typically what they would do for that stuff is when they do the clear coat, if it's too shiny, then they deaden it on set with some deadener. But it's just not, it's not like they, I don't know how to describe it. It's not, it doesn't look like they painted it to be deader on camera. They just the way they painted it. It looks like they painted it really metallic and then sealed it, and it lost a little reflectivity. It doesn't. I don't think it was on purpose because they have a weathering layer on top of that stuff that deadens it a little more. But when you see what I'm talking about, it'll make sense. Like I've seen. I mean, I worked on one of the RoboCop suits for RoboCop 2. I had it in my hands for weeks, and I got to really look at it. And I've seen the first RoboCop helmets are probably more what you're talking about, but it looks like they just did, you know, not the equivalent of silver spray paint, but like an auto grade silver, and then tinted it, so it's not really reflective at all. And they, you know, did all those like color cheats and stuff. I sprayed gloss my Hasbro, man. I made it super shiny one day. Yeah, so the difference. So actually, addressing what Richard was saying is what Neil said is kind of interesting. So when they did the helmets for the show, they did them with like, I'm 99% sure they used Alumiluster. I could probably find out 100%, but I'm 99% sure they used Alumiluster with 2K clear, and it deadened it. The Hasbro ones were vac metalized, and then they deadened it with the surface coat, like what Richard was talking about, but it was the reverse. So they deadened it to match more closely to the original. So once you clear coat it and you fix that little tiny surface like texture that's really, really, really fine, you can't really see it, but it breaks up the light. Once you clear coat it, now you got a mirror. You got super, super shiny, which would not happen if you did it to the screen use suits. You wouldn't get the same effect. But what's crazy is those Hasbro ones are so good that they were using those for stunt helmets for the actual show, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, there are two definitely different methods to chrome them, but they look very, very similar in person. Like if you took a Hasbro one and then the screen used ones, like just off the shelf, they kind of look the same, but like they got to that point in like the reverse order. It's sort of weird. Yeah, I've seen people do that exact thing before. All right, let's go back here. Let's look at some more stuff. Now I'm like off track. I got 8 minutes left, and I got to get back to work. So let's see if I can find this picture. Burp. A bunch of random projects mixed in here with like actory kind of stuff. What is this? This is a helmet I did for Arcane, I think was the thing. It was, let's see here. Damn it, sorry, flipping around. This is a helmet I did for Arcane thing. It's got like a hood that goes over it. And I don't know what the hell they did with this. This was like a client thing. They paid me a lot of money to make this. And it has this like a foam thing inside. And it was like fiberglass inside the cap. It was made for this girl, and they cast her. It fit her really, really. I'm real proud of it because it fit her freaking awesome, and it looked like the game reference, so that was pretty cool. I was pretty proud of that, but I never saw where it went. I saw some event where they had a couple like live action things, but I don't know what the hell they used it for. I asked. I'm looking for that. That was like 3 years ago I made that thing. Let's see. I gotta get back to flying. Look, speaking of RoboCop, here's me with the suit. I'm not this much shorter than RoboCop, by the way. This is a RoboCop 2 costume. I basically built a mannequin for it. Worked on putting the whole thing on the mannequin. They wanted it like stabilized but not necessarily restored, so I had like done a bunch of fixes to the neck and the head, the under skull. The all the belly stuff was like collapsing, and they didn't want to like do a restoration, so it's like partial restoration and touch up so it didn't look so bad, and then like steam it and get it back into shape and then stabilize it so it wouldn't fall apart, and then basically put it all on a mannequin as needed. Now this mannequin, this stand is like 3 inches tall, and it's on wheels, so it makes me look tiny, but the actual RoboCop suit when it's on the ground is like maybe like 2 inches taller than I am. It's not that tall, so it just looks massive here because of the base. And this thing was made out of like some kind of like a urethane. It had some flex to it. It's pretty awesome. It was nice talking to you guys, dude. Thank you for stopping by, man. It's cool to know that you're here, and thanks again for sharing all your 3PO scans. They've been very, very freaking useful to all of us builders for sure. Really cool reference. And yeah, have a good time. Oh my God, 5 minutes left. Let's go fly around in the drone, Philip. I'll come back and chat more in a bit. Let's see, game. No, we want that on. Turn back on. Turn that off. All right, we'll do a couple more laps on the track here, on the level, and go. I still, all this time flying around, I still haven't really done like the actual race courses. I feel like I get frustrated easily because I don't learn them quick, and I'm just like, oh my God, I didn't even know there was a doorway there. But yeah, all that stuff is super interesting, and it's fun to see these things in person and kind of like get a look at how they do everything and find the tricks, like what little like industry inside kind of things that are smart as far as like how to cheat things. I think that with props in general, it's always shocking to me how much they can cheat with like paint, and when you see it in person it looks terrible, and when you see it on camera it looks good. I'm like, how do you know how to do that? That's very cool. All right, let's see. Oh, can I make it under there? Oh my God, I did it. Okay. You have a great time, buddy. Fly my Uber driver. Dude, thank you, Richard. I'll be here again in, what is today? Saturday. I'll be on, if I'm doing on schedule, I'll be here Monday, but I'm getting really close to having to go leave. So I got to make sure, if everything's not done, I might have to forego the stream until I get back from Florida. Or maybe I'll do a live one, a short one while I'm in Florida, just chat. I'll do it from my phone or something and see where I'm at. Maybe I'll live stream the show when I play. That'll be interesting. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, I didn't die. Yay. So, alright. So yeah, anyway, that stuff was fun. And I put down in my living room, I don't know if you guys are on my Instagram or not, but I put up shots of all my my helmets, my RA7 versions that I've done and what I've worn them for. Because I did the ones that are in Galaxy's Edge. I did one that I wore in the Star Wars Theory Shards of the Past Vader fan film. It was really fun to work on. And then I did one that was in the, what is it, Sneaky Zebra. He's got one coming out, like another fan film, but it's pretty high production value for a fan film. And then the Skeleton Crew, and every single one of those was the same costume, but I made new helmets each time. And so I had all the helmets out on the table, and I took a photo earlier, and it was pretty fun to see them all together. And I've never had them together like that before, so I was like, oh, they've been kicking around my house. I never put them together. And the one that I made for the Star Wars Theory video was the one that was at my friend Sam's office. So when I picked it up the other day, I was going to hand it off to my friend Gabe and kind of be like on indefinite loan to him, because he displays stuff really cool, and it'd be better if everybody could look at it, you know? So we'll see. I'm going to make a deal with him, like he can keep it there, but if he ever wants to get rid of it, he has to make sure I get it back. Alright, 43 seconds left, and I got to get off of this thing. Thanks so much, everybody, for stopping by. Again, I'll be back on Monday if I am not totally screwed myself for work. And if I have, then it might be a week or two before I come back on, because I'm real busy. But I'll definitely be back on before Star Wars Celebration in Japan, and maybe, if I can sort it out, maybe I can stream for a little bit while I'm in Japan from the convention center, and we can see a little bit of Star Wars Celebration in Japan. I'm definitely going to bring some cameras and try to get a bunch of stuff around the convention there. It's interesting. I'm very curious to see how they have a convention in Japan versus. I've seen a couple screens of Mando the conventions. They're surprised how close to graphite the powder. Exactly, they look very, very, very graphite. They don't look reflective. But I was able, by accident, completely by accident, I clear coated my all clad, and it looked exactly like, to the T, exactly like the Mando armor. I was like, oh, that's the trick. And I've seen them paint other stuff that same way, so I was like, okay, that's 99.97% sure that's what they did. Oh, I am going to Star Wars Celebration. I'm only going Saturday, so I'll be at Star Wars Celebration on Saturday, and then the rest of the time I'm just gonna be like farting around Japan. So, but yeah, I'm still going to Celebration. That is for sure. We bought those tickets a long time ago. So, but again, only for Saturday. So I'll be there all day Saturday, and then after that we go to Kyoto on a bullet train, which will be real fun. And then, yeah, been doing my Duolingo so I can say some stuff in Japanese, and you know, at least maybe say some basics, and it should be freaking good. All right, dude. It is. My time is up. I have to go do productive things around the house here for a little bit. Maybe I'll come back on and fly tomorrow too, since this like Monday, Tuesday might be pretty crazy. Um, Maybe I'll come back on tomorrow. We'll see. Jordan, are you going to Florida for the show on Friday or on Saturday? Wow. All right, look at this. Oh, I hit a tree. Yep. Oh, freaking sweet, dude. I'm excited. So I get to see Jordan Leitner in 1 week. That's going to be awesome. Uh, yeah, dude. See, that's the thing is Star Wars Celebration is great, but Japan is outside. Like you're going to be in Japan at a convention center, or it's like Japan's amazing, and I want to go to Star Wars Celebration, but Japan is outside. You got to go to freaking Japan. But dude, I'm excited. I'll get to see you on Saturday, 1 week from today. Hang out with Jordan for a little bit. That'll be freaking nice, man. So hopefully the show goes smoothly, and it's not a big old giant cluster bomb, but should be good. I have to play the songs. I haven't played a bunch of them. I broke out the bass a couple weeks ago. It's right over off the screen here. And I farted around a little bit, but I haven't I've played the songs, just goofing around, but I haven't played through them with the music. So I need to just listen to the stuff to make sure. They're all easy, but my brain will check out in the middle of stuff and I'll mess up, and I don't want to do that, and it'll be embarrassing. Rich always makes fun of me because I have the same bass that I played way back in the day for all our culture stuff. I use the same bass, and they're like, "You're gonna get a new bass?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm a guitarist. I'll buy 10 guitars before I'll buy another bass guitar." So I will have my same classic culture bass guitar, which will be exciting. But dude, Jordan, I'll see you in a week, and then everybody else, thanks for stopping by. I'll be back on here hopefully in 2 days, maybe tomorrow. We will see. But see you kids soon. I got to go put in the floor.